Good evening and welcome to Canal Algérie's nightly news. On to the headlines. The head of state, Abdelmajid Tebboune, receives a phone call from his Mauritanian counterpart, during which the two parties discussed the fraternal relations linking both countries. The President of the Republic, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense, presents his condolences to the family of late General Zidi El Aid, head of division at the level of the Land Forces Command. Yet another blow by the French circles, who continue to manage Algerian-French relations with utmost improvisation through leaks to press, indicating that the assets and properties of Algerian officials in France have been frozen. We'll also delve into the National Forum on Digitization within the People's National Army, aimed to assess progress, address challenges, and define future objectives. Internationally, an opinion piece in Washington Times by former American diplomat John Bolton clearly states that the U.S. must support the referendum self-determination for Western Sahara, and case in point of the growing international support to the Sahrawi issue from the Canary Islands. Lastly, in our agricultural window, we'll visit the Sipsa Filaha trade fair, the largest of its kind in Africa. And thanks to a new fishing protocol, Algeria is now allowed to fish in the Mauritanian territorial water. Welcome back. We begin with tonight's top story as the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, received a phone call from his brother, Mohammed Ould Sheikh Al Ghazouani, President of the brotherly country of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania, during which they have evoked the strong and deeply rooted brotherly relations binding the two peoples, presidents, and countries. On the occasion, the head of state congratulated the Mauritanian president of his country's presidency of the African Development Bank, following the victory of its candidate, noting that this achievement is a success for Africa and the two brother countries, Algeria and Mauritania. In another presidential activity, the President of the Republic, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense, Abdelmajid Tebboune, extended on Thursday his sincere condolences to the family of late General Zidi El Aid, head of division at the level of the Land Forces Command, who passed away on Wednesday. Following this sad news, the President extended his sincere condolences to the family of the late and all the members of the People's National Army, praying Allah Almighty to grant him mercy and to welcome him in his vast paradise, and to grant his loved ones patience and solace. Indeed, to Allah we belong, and to him we shall return. And for his part, the Minister Delegate to the Minister of National Defense, Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, Army General Saïd Chengriha, presented on his behalf and on behalf of the PNA personnel his sincere condolences and deep sympathy to the family of the late General, praying Allah Almighty to grant him his mercy and to welcome him in his vast paradise among the martyrs and the righteous, and to grant his loved ones and all the courage and strength following this painful ordeal. Indeed, to Allah we belong, and to him we shall return, concludes the message. And new developments of the diplomatic tensions between Algeria and France that appears to be escalating. Recent reports in L'Express, based on leaks from French officials, suggest France might freeze assets of Algerian officials. Melissa Kabash tells us more.
French circles continue to manage Algerian-French relations through organized and highly improvised leaks, demonstrating a striking lack of shrewdness and a failure to rectify the course. Yesterday, L'Express newspaper reported, citing its sources, that French authorities might be preparing a decision to freeze the assets of Algerian officials. This is reportedly in response to Algeria's refusal to accept its nationals for whom departure orders from French territory have been issued. These leaks also suggest efforts to freeze the properties of Algerian officials in France by preventing them from accessing their real estate or other assets. France has never before descended to such a low in managing its relations with Algeria. It has never touched such a level of amateurism and improvisation, nor reached such a peak of unseriousness. Once again, all these practices bear the distinct imprint of French officials, who seem to find in Algeria only fodder for their political careers. And this political issue, Algeria, its people, government and institutions tells them, go ahead and implement what you're talking about. Those who truly stand beyond these threats, which can only provoke disdain and indifference from Algeria, must grasp the truth. They are not addressing the real Algeria, but another Algeria that exists only in their imagination. An Algeria they can only describe with terms like the regime, the authority, senior influential figures, or the ruling elite. This Algeria exists only in their delusions and insane perceptions. The true Algeria, not the one they feeds their fantasies, is fundamentally different. It is the Algeria that has requested France to activate mechanisms of judicial cooperation in cases of illicitly acquired properties without receiving any significant response. It is the Algeria that has sent 51 international judicial assistance requests to French justice without receiving any reply. It is also the Algeria that has requested France to hand over numerous individuals convicted of corruption, theft, embezzlement, and plunder of public funds without finding any significant cooperation. Through such negligence, the concerned French authorities place themselves in the position of complicit in all these unlawful practices. If it's about cleaning OGS stables, France should start by cleaning its own stables first. Perhaps that will enable it to gain some credibility and seriousness, which it desperately needs at this very moment.
Algerian-Mauritanian cooperation, the Minister of Agriculture, Rural Development and Fisheries, Youssef Shorfa, co-presided today along with the Minister of Fisheries and Maritime and Port Infrastructure of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania, Sidati Ahmed Louli, the signing ceremony of the minutes of the Algerian-Mauritanian Joint Technical Commission for the activation of the Protocol of Fishing License and Mauritanian territorial waters, in an approach which will further strengthen bilateral cooperation in the field. Members of the committee discussed means to expand this cooperation to include aquaculture, ships building and repair, scientific research and commercial exchanges, thus reflecting the strength of Algerian-Mauritanian relations. Worth mentioning that the Joint Technical Committee was established as part of the working visit of the Mauritanian minister to Algeria. And in energy, the Sonatrach Group, in collaboration with the Sonalgas Group and the American renewable energy company Hekati, is preparing an integrated project to produce green hydrogen in order to meet the needs of the iron and steel industry at the Toshali complex. This project was discussed during a meeting between the group CEO Rashid Hashishi, the CEO of Hekati, and a member of the board of directors of Toshali complex, Algeria. The project is based on the results of studies and work completed within the framework of the Memoranda of Understanding concluded in 2024 between Sonatrach and both Hekati and Toshali companies. And as the digital transition takes over the world, the National People's Army is keeping up, launching a new forum on digital transformation, highlighting its drive towards digital sovereignty and enhanced military capabilities. Story by Melissa Lila Balaman.
Senior military officials conveyed in Bni Msous for a significant gathering as Major General Farhat Nabil Bilhoul, who serves as the lead of Digital and Information Systems at the Ministry of National Defense, officially opened a national forum dedicated to digital transformation within the People's National Army. The event took place at the prestigious Army's National Circle located in the 1st Military Region and brought together a wide range of high-ranking officials and key representatives from various branches of the military. This high-level forum forms part of a broader and ongoing strategic initiative aimed at modernizing the digital infrastructure of the armed forces. It reflects the ministry's commitment to strengthening Algeria's technological autonomy and enhancing the operational efficiency of the military. For the country's defense leadership, the process of digitalization is viewed not merely as an upgrade, but as a pivotal move towards shaping a more agile, responsive, and professional military force, one that is better equipped to address the evolving challenges of modern warfare and national security. Beyond strategic planning, the event also created space for meaningful exchange between experts, encouraging dialogue and collaboration around the future of military tech.
As part of the sustained efforts against multifaceted organized crime, and during a patrol carried out Wednesday at the level of the operational sector northeast in Aminas in the 4th Military Region, a detachment of the PNA seized an all-terrain vehicle containing a significant quantity of psychotropic tablets amounting to 1,312,180 pregabalin 300 milligram tablets. This operation, which is part of the sustained efforts in their fight against drug trafficking in our country, and demonstrates the high professionalism, vigilance, and complete readiness of our armed forces. And as part of the continued efforts of the Specialized Operational Services of the National Security in the fight against organized crime, the Regional Service of the Fight Against Organized Crime under the National Security of Iran Province during the past week successfully neutralized the activities of an organized criminal network to arresting 3 of its members and seizing Category 4 and 5 weapons, ammunition, and sensitive equipment. This operation was carried out after an intensive field operation supported by meticulous searches, which enable the service's investigators to uncover the network's criminal activity, identify its members, and locate their whereabouts. A well-organized security plan was developed and resulted in the arrest of 3 suspects in the city Sinya, Iran. The search of the suspects' homes resulted in the recovery of 4 single-barrel repeating rifles, 1 spearfishing rifle, 4 pistols with silencers, 6,877 units of ammunition of various calibers, 2 two-way radios, 3 binoculars, and 2 other optical devices intended for arms. The accused were presented before the public prosecutor of the Sinya court, concludes the DGSN communique. In a recent Washington Post article, former U.S. National Security Advisor sharply criticized Morocco for deliberately blocking the Sahrawi people's path to self-determination, a goal backed by many international organizations and advocates. Manal Maafa with the full story.
In one of the most significant American media interventions on the Western Sahara issue, the Washington Times, a newspaper known for its influence in the U.S., published a detailed opinion piece by former U.S. National Security Advisor and Ambassador to the United Nations, John Bolton, a key architect of U.S. foreign policy and a leading figure among the non-conservatives. Bolton is widely regarded as one of the most knowledgeable American officials on the Western Sahara files, having worked closely with former UN envoy James Baker. In his article, Bolton firmly rejected claims labeling the Polisario Front as a terrorist group, describing such accusations as baseless propaganda aimed at distracting from Morocco's continued obstruction of the peace process and undermining the Sahrawi people's legitimate struggle for self-determination. He pointed directly to Morocco as the main force blocking the long-promised referendum, despite its earlier commitments, most notably the 1997 agreement. Bolton also highlighted the Sahrawi people's moderate and open stance, referencing U.S. State Department reports and testimonies from high-ranking officials, including the late Senator James Inhofe, who visited the refugee camps in Tindouf and witnessed their conditions firsthand. The truth that some lobbying groups try to obscure is that Western Sahara is not a mere territorial dispute, but a decolonization issue. A just solution must begin with a free and fair referendum under the supervision of the United Nations. Bolton recalled the foundations of the internationally recognized political solution, the 1991 UN settlement plan, which called for a free and fair referendum to determine the fate of the Sahrawi people. He openly urged the U.S. administration to return to this legitimate and democratic path. He stated that the U.S. policy must return to its foundational principles by supporting a referendum that allows the Sahrawi people to determine their own future. In his article, Bolton added that Morocco had repeatedly agreed to hold the referendum, only to backtrack each time, fearing that the Sahrawi people might choose independence. He also touched on recent geopolitical shifts in North Africa, noting that Algeria has begun forming new strategic alliances, including a military cooperation agreement with Washington signed during Trump's second term. He further added that this dynamic offers the United Nations a valuable opportunity to recalibrate its political direction in the region. In the closing of his article, John Bolton called on the U.S. Congress to send official delegations to the Sahrawi refugee camps in Tindouf in order to witness the reality on the ground firsthand, away from the influence of lobbying groups and misleading propaganda.
In a similar context, trade unions in the Canary Islands have reaffirmed their back-in for Sahrawi self-determination during a major workers' congress as activists rallied in Santa Cruz to demand justice for political prisoners and draw renewed attention to Western Sahara. Salila Balaman explains.
During the 13th Congress of the Canarian Workers' Unions, a resolution in support of the Sahrawi people's right to self-determination was adopted by a wide majority. Delegates described the measure as both a political stance and a reflection of trade union values, emphasizing that the Sahrawi cause represents a broader issue of human dignity in the context of territorial occupation. In conjunction with the Congress, a solidarity rally took place outside Santa Cruz City Hall. Participants displayed images of Sahrawi political prisoners currently held in Moroccan detention facilities and called for their immediate release, describing their trials as unjust.
All the families of the prisoners, as well as Sahrawi families in the refugee camps or under occupation, are following this movement with a sense of satisfaction as it gives them a voice in the media and within society. We are devastated by what's happening back home. Basic human rights are being violated, and the Sahrawi people are facing relentless injustice.
The initiative reflects growing international union support for the Sahrawi cause and a call for increased global attention to the unresolved conflict.
During the opening of a regional study day on disputes in agricultural land, the first president of the Supreme Court, Tahir Mamounis, stated on Thursday from Blida that Algeria has worked since independence to provide agricultural state land ownership with a solid legal framework, given its role in achieving development and food security, emphasizing that agricultural land constitutes, since independence, a concern of the state, which has made sure to regulate it through a set of legislative and regulatory texts. These texts have enabled people wishing to cultivate the land and invest in agriculture to benefit from rights while maintaining the state's right to intervene to preserve public property and national assets in general. Sibta Filaha, Africa's largest agricultural expo, wound up Tuesday, today showcasing a wave of innovation. A new generation of young entrepreneurs is reshaping the sector with fresh ideas, embracing precision farming, smart platforms, and AI to move beyond traditional practices. Manal Maafwa.
The International Agriculture, Livestock and Agri-Industry Expo is quickly becoming a hub for the future of farming, with artificial intelligence taking center stage. It offers a glimpse into a new direction for the sector, one focused on tech-driven, sustainable and locally inspired solutions. Young entrepreneurs are at the forefront, using AI to create tools that enhance productivity, manage resources efficiently, and open up better access to markets.
The producer lists their products on the app, then we check the quality, sort them by size and upload them. All the customer has to do is place an order and we take care of the delivery.
Another notable breakthrough is an Algerian-made agricultural drone that monitors fields, assesses soil health and applies fertilizer precisely where and when it's needed.
It's a fresh idea that could truly help farmers cut costs and reduce their reliance on manual labor.
These efforts reflect Algeria's clear commitment to digitally transforming its agricultural sector, with AI playing a key role in strengthening food security and broadening the country's economic base.
The end of our news. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your weekend.